The Meg 3 potential release, cast and everything we know. Warner Brothers, the Meg franchise already graced the big screen on 2 separate occasions, and many fans are now wondering if the Meg 3 will follow. After the original The Meg came out in 2018 and earned an impressive $529 million at the worldwide box office, it was a no-brainer to bring back Jason Statham to lead the cast for a sequel. That sequel, which was titled The Meg 2, was released in 2023 and saw a bit of a drop financially when compared to the first movie, grossing only $397 million on the same budget, $130 million, that the original was given. The Meg only focused on the ever-terrifying Megalodon, but The Meg 2 raised the stakes by not only including multiple Megs but also a giant octopus and even some prehistoric creatures. When could The Meg 3 release? Seeing as how there was a 5-year gap between the first 2 Meg movies, The Meg 3 is likely pretty far off. It is important to note that Warner Brothers hasn't greenlit a 3rd film in the series as of writing, so there is no guarantee of another installment. However, the Meg 2 director Ben Wheatley stated in an interview with Total Film that occurred before the release of the film that he hopes he will get the opportunity to make a 3rd film. You don't want to talk about it until Meg 2 is out, but I hope so. There's a lot more to explore in that world. It's very rich. The internationalness of it is very interesting. The director also talked about what makes the movie so special, stating that they're just about people working together who come from places all over the world. What's so smart about the first film is that it's not Rush Hour. It's not East meets West, oh, we're all confused about each other. It's just people working together and being in an everyday adventure, and the people just happen to come from places all over the world. I think that's good for audiences, and it's a good message as well. While it seems that Wheatley would love nothing more than to make The Meg 3, as previously mentioned, The Meg 2 earned substantially less money at the worldwide box office than the original movie. That fact could make it more difficult for Warner Brothers to greenlight a 3rd film, as the company could see it as not worth the time, money, and resources. Assuming that The Meg 3 does get announced, however, fans could probably expect there not to be as long of a gap between The Meg 2 and The Meg 3 as there was between the first 2 movies. The Meg and The Meg 2 were released 5 years apart, but The Meg 3 would likely be released as early as 2026 if it were to be greenlit and go into production sometime in late 2024/early 2025. The Meg 2 began filming in January 2022 and was then released in August 2023, 19 months apart, so assuming The Meg 3 began filming in January 2025, it would likely come out around August 2026, only 3 years after The Meg 2 as opposed to 5 years.